Welcome to the channel. Pain of the Patoot here with another map review. This one is going to be Woods. So this is for newer players and just me running through the map with some pointers that I think may be of assistance to new players, and hopefully it'll help them with the game. So let's actually start off over here with Tarkov Wiki, one of my favorite tools. And what we have is a 40-minute duration map, which is sort of not the top length, but it is in the middle of that. It's a relatively big map with lots of different terrains in it. Players, PMCs that are allowed into the raid are between 9 and 14, and your enemies will be Scavs, Strumen, Knight, Big Pipe, and Bird Eye, also effectively known as the Goon Squad. Plus, if you come into the map at night, it will be Cultists. So there's a few different keys that you can pick up. The ZB14 key is exit key, which is handy. And the Strumen stash key you get after killing Strumen. Strumen is a fairly difficult boss to take out. He typically uses a SVD, so he is very easily able to snipe you. Um, so he's got two guards as well. So in total, there's three of them, and they are a handful. So here's the pictures of the big pipe. These two guys tend to rush, and the third guy, Bird Eye, stands back and shoots you. And of course, the cultists. So we have some locations defined here that will help you. The big things you need to know is, for example, this is the RUAF extract point, so it's nice to know that one. UN roadblock, another extract point, nice to know that one. And just killing it here. So you have both ZB14 and ZB16. ZB14 can be an extraction. It's a bunker. You do need a key to get out in that on that map. Oops, go back here. And there's a few other different extraction points that you have to be aware of, um, especially for scav ones. So, anyways, go to Tarkov Wiki and you can look up the this map, search on Woods. And then let's keep going here. And this is the interactive map, which I like, but I'm going to hide everything at the moment. So, boss spawns. These are for Strumen is here, and this is around um, the sawmill. That's that area here. Up here is the transmitting tower, and this is where the goon squad um, appears. So I'll show you a picture of that. Beware that their reach is out to this point. I've had Bird Eye snipe me here. He actually moved up to this location, and I was just running along this area and got whacked by him. So keep that in mind. Again, at night for cultists, they can appear here, which is near the sawmill. But this is the areas here which they will appear on. Remember, with the cultists, they're difficult to spot, even if you have infrared. They don't show up on infrared very well because they have some kind of chemical that they're high on, and it reduces their overall heat signature. There is one sniper, and this is on the top of a pile of rocks. He overlooks this area here going towards the sawmill. You can actually get up to where he is by climbing these rocks and kill him, so that's helpful to know. He's not overly difficult to take out. You can usually see him from this area and just shoot him. And finally, PMC spawns. So note, as on some of the other maps that I've said, you have to be careful when you have spawn points grouped like this, in that somebody you can spawn in, say, here, and there'll be somebody here that spawns in. So they will come across here and try to cut off your movement into the map, or somebody can actually stay here, spawn in here and wait for you to come along. Same sort of thing here. Um, the further in you spawn, maybe the better off you are, because you can simply move into the game. If you're back here, then these guys have the opportunity to cut you off. So keep in mind for that. Lots of goodies on this map. If I go just to barrels, those are all the caches on the map. So I'll just clear everything and then go back here. So there's a lot of barrels in here. Other than that, there isn't even too many buildings. There's these section of houses here. These are all broken down houses. There isn't too much. There is a bit here at the power station, but there isn't even that much here unless you can kill Struman and take his stuff. There isn't a lot of stuff in the buildings, the traditional coats and all that kind of stuff. There's some, but really the stashes are where you can make money on this map, and if you hit enough of them, you can make a lot of money. Okay, and then just keep moving down the page. There's a couple more maps on this. There's a 2D map, and then this one is sort of a 3D. I don't know if I'd particularly like that. It doesn't really lend itself to helping out too much more, but it is if you want to see sort of renditions of the little buildings and such. And it is sort of oriented a little bit differently. So, like old railway depot, there's no buildings there, so I don't know why they're doing that. Um, Anyways, I don't typically use that map that much. So let's go cancel that. This is more or less a repeat of what I'm doing, and then this is an older map because it doesn't really show too much. Anyways, there's some gallery pictures here, and so the one thing on this map, it is a sniping map. That is one of the reasons I'm not a great fan of it all the time, or like personally, I don't like the map that much because of all the sniping. So here's one that I can mark up a bit, and I'll give you some more information on that. You have the lake here, and you can use that as a point to orient yourself. The other point that I use, because it can be a confusing map to spawn in on. When you come in, you have all these lakes and all that stuff. So this rock formation is easily, you can see it. It's very tall, so that's how I orient myself on the map. That I keep moving until I can see um, the rock formations, and then I know which way to go. I basically head to them. The other point is power lines. So again, here's the power lines along here. So you can use that if you come in and you find the power lines. They go across this way. But if you get on the road and the power lines, if you spawn over here by the lakes, come out and then make a right and follow this, and that gets you towards the extracts that you want to be in. So let's go back here. So I mentioned sniping. There's lots of places on this map, even if you're not elevated, to snipe, because you have a number of sections of big open terrain that you can get sniped on just a horizontal. But the other thing is, of course, elevation, and this rock formation here is a bad place for people to sit and snipe into the sawmill. But they also can reach out in all of these directions. There's a lot of trees here, so it's a little tougher for them to snipe in that direction. But they can go on any one of these little peaks and reach out to people. So you have to be very careful sniping there. There's a secondary rock formation that's not very tall, but again, sniping. is quite possible from these rocks. Okay. Um, so if we continue on, that's the sniping portion of it. Uh, where else? Yeah, so the other portion is there's a scav house here, which scavs spawn around. So if you need scav kills, you move towards this scav house. The extract is at the pickup truck right there. So you'll find people sitting on this rock here and sniping the scavs, but they'll also get anybody else that appears. And then finally, there's a rock formation here that people climb on top of, and again, they reach out to players in these areas. So, like I said, it's a very sniper friendly map. Lots of open spaces to snipe from. You can even sit here near the exit. There's the RCAU exit is there, and so people will sit there. The UN extract is there, but people will sit on these rocks and look for people coming towards this extract, and they can snipe again out this way towards the med compound or along there. So that's why I say this map is very um, sniper friendly, for lack of a better way. There's a lot of sniping on this map, and I hate it because I suck as a sniper. I guess you could say there's another. This the goons actually use this and will shoot into this sunken village, they call it. It's a bunch of broken down houses, but they'll shoot there. I was killed by one of the goon squads right there, so that's how far they'll reach out. So you got to be careful. Okay, so that's it for sniping. I'm just gonna take away some of these points. Do. Okay, so the other point you'll note on the map, these sniper locations, that means if you go in that area, you're dead. You can never see the sniper. It's automatic sniping. Um, so don't want to run into them. In most cases, you won't go that far, but it does extend. You can if you're following the river and trying to get up towards the transmitting tower. You can actually stray into here and get sniped. But yeah, these are 100% snipe kills. Event like they shoot you again, then again, then again, until you die, and they can usually get you in two. There's sniping here. This is the car extract here, where you pay money and you can leave. But if you run too deep in here to try to hide from players, you'll get sniped. So keep that in mind. Oops. So get rid of that. And this portion here is minefield. So if you walk into any of this portion here, you'll explode a mine. So be mindful. I find when I'm coming this way that if you're not paying attention to the little signs, there's little red signs with a skull and this symbol on it. But sometimes you can stray over this way and all of a sudden it's kaboom. It's usually not enough to kill you, um, except for if you hit a second one. So usually you can heal your way out of them, but you got to be careful. One of the other problems in this area here is there's two encampments, and you have to find them for uh, this one here for a task. It's a scav. It's a prepor task to find the convoy or something like that. You have to walk into this. You have to walk into this camp. Just walk in, walk out again. But there are this is a mine area, and this is a mined area. It's not shown, but I've come up trying to come the back way to go into this second encampment and got blown up by a mine. So keep that in mind. So I'll clear that off. But yeah, there's a task for a convoy, so you have to get into this camp, and there's a convoy on the road. So it gets very confusing in this area, to be honest with you. There's so many trees, you can't see any of the marker points. So you have to use the stuff like the roads, and even the roads themselves are very confusing with this Y and stuff. It's a very confusing map, and that's why it's not one of my favorites. Um, this area here is a medical compound, and it's very good for stims and meds and everything like that. This is where early in the game, when you're coming on and looking for over here the introduction letter for Jaeger, it's a task you have to do for mechanic. So it's over there, but I come in here for scav kills because scavs will start spawning and coming into the camp. You also bring a lot of players in. But so it's a good place to hang out inside this encampment and get scav kills. I just usually sit here and wait for them to show up. Some maps, sometimes they don't spawn very quickly. Sometimes you'll get 6 or 7 of them showing up. But for Selawas that you need on that therapist task, the very first task from her, this is a good place to get them. You have to watch out for PMCs, but it's there's lots of medical bags and tables and areas where the Selawas, the red med kits, are found, and they're all over here. Plus, there's boxes for bits and bobs, and a couple of weapons cases in here. So it's actually one of the better areas to go to um, for a like a location where you can actually find stuff. Okay, go back here. So this is actually the sawmill, and this is where Struman hangs out, usually down in this area. And you have to watch out because he will. These little sheds here, there you have to go to them for some tasks, and he's good at sniping into those. You'll also get players hanging up, coming in this way, and they'll shoot down into you. But other than a couple of boxes in this building, there's hit and miss on loot. There's a little shed here way near the water that's got some filing cabinets, and it's not bad. This is a covered shed with a bunch of piles of logs. There's a couple of boxes in it. But it's other than actually engaging Struman, he has his own stash, which is over here. You got to kill him to get his key. It's pretty good if you can kill him, but he's hard to kill. I have had a lot of trouble trying to kill Struman. So I typically avoid this location other than you need it for tasks. So I don't come here that often on this map just because of Struman and everybody else. But you will have to come to these 3 sheds, one to plant um, gold chains, and another to find a file folder under one of the beds. This is a little dock, and you have to plant some items on that dock. And that is, I think, pretty much all the tasks you have to. Oh, there's a truck here. You have to jump into the back of it to grab a piece for skier. You have to do that along with a truck that's on the road here. There's a piece in there. But that you're highly visible in that. You have to be very careful. I typically will do that at night, so it's harder for people to see, and it's harder for Struman to see you. And I usually hope that I'm up in this area. I would be using NVTs, but usually by the time you get down here, most of the players are done with what they're going to do here. Um, that's my best advice on trying to complete that task. Over here, there's a couple of sheds and a little bit of goodies. This is a small, I don't know, village with a few houses. Very good for scav kills because there's 5 to 7 of them can. By the end of the raid, usually you get 2s and 3s. But what you can do is if you need sniping kills, you sit on the rocks up here and shoot them down these main streets. Otherwise, just go into the buildings and they'll show up. So it's a very good place in this little hamlet, if you want to call it, for some scav kills. Another place where there's scav kills, this is the sunken area here, and a bunch of broken down houses. There's, you can get 2 or 3 scavs appearing all through here. Um, not hard to kill them. They're pretty level, you do have to watch out for bird eye up here. The next place for scavs is this high area. There's a bunch of those shipping containers stacked. There's a little bit of goodies in here. There's one little bunk shed that it's got some possibilities for statues and things, so it's a good area. Plus, you get scavs coming back and forth between these two areas. So if you need scav kills, it's a good place to come on the map. Again, you got to watch out for the goon squad because they come in someplace around here. Well, they'll actually encompass this whole area. I find if you encounter them, there is a bunker here that you can run down the stairs and get in the sort of all the way to the end of the bunker complex, and then you're only defending against one door. So you sit back and you let them come in and you shoot them as they come through the door. That usually will get you the two guys that Big Pipe and whatever the other guy's name is that rush you, and then you have to. I just run it, try to get away because it's very hard to get the sniper. Sometimes he will actually rush, which doesn't make sense when you're a sniper, but he's got another weapon with his sniping rifle. But usually he'll sit around the perimeter and shoot you that way. Okay, so other than that, you will find you'll find scavs in here, and you will find again. This is the yeah. I think I gave you the wrong thing. There's the scav house. So you'll get scavs appearing along here, all the way along here, that you can deal with. This is sort of a little hiding camp. There's a building here and some stacked logs. They will also appear along this way. And this is where the other piece that you need for skier is. Actually, there's a little roadblock with a black SUV, and you have to open the door of the SUV to get it. My mistake. Sorry, I told you this. This is not. This is a broken car on the road. But again, that is a good area for scavs in this area. You can get them coming over from here. You can get them in this area too. But that's it. So I think I've covered most of the stuff on the map. Now I'll just show you some way that I play, and it will depend on how I spawn. Um, Again, this is the outskirts extract in this area, and it is a big area. So you'll see a pickup with the hood up here. It's kind of a bluish. That's the general area. But it can go from one side of the road to the other. So you just have to keep in the general area. Don't go too far because there are landmines back here. But that's the one extract. So spawning, you sometimes spawn in here by the scav house. So if I do that, my movement is around this way. And if you spawn in over here, your extract will probably be um, it's not really showing on the map, but it'll actually be about down here. That's one. And then you have the, excuse me, along here. This is the UN one over here. So that usually would come along here, go into the compound, and then either hit here or hit here to get out. If I want something in particular up at this point, if I spawn in this area here, and you can spawn anywhere in this area here, I will just move along and I sort of follow the mines until I get to the road, and then I follow the road and go through this section here up to that point there, which is the bunker where the goons are, but there's also lots of scavs to kill. So if I'm on a scav kill run, basically, if I spawn in any place here, I immediately come up this way, trying to find this road. You can find scavs here if you want, and then come down, head up here to the tower. There's scavs in this area, so I'd go over there. Then I hit the sunken town, then I keep following this through this town, and then I will come back over this way, and there's scavs in this area. There's the train tracks and exit there. So you do get scavs in this area. I didn't mark it previously, but they can appear there. So that is the way that I like to go in from that way. If I spawn over in this way, again, I will just kind of do the reverse. Coming this way and back through that, in here, up in here, and then I will head out. Now I did have a little video where I spawned in here and I just needed kills, so what I decided to do was just go sit here because again they will spawn here and they move backwards and forwards here. So I just sat in there and I actually got a couple coming this way and I got some player kills as well. But you can sit in there and you can get 2 or 3 kills that way. If you show up, if you spawn in this area, you can spawn anywhere in this area. Again, I usually go to the village first and then track back through the sunken. Or I just start going the sunken and go this way. Again, same thing. Those are my favorite routes. Again, like I said, I kind of avoid this way. Um, you can actually, if you spawn and come through here, you can come back because you will get some scavs spawning in this area as well, so you can get a few kills. And then I would go through to this where you get another spawn area and go for the UN extraction almost every time. And then if I spawn back in here, I hit this campment. I'll sit here sometimes waiting for scavs to appear, get a few scav kills. But at that point, I will often run around the perimeter here and then do this jaunt to try to get scavs. And this is if I have to get out the outskirts. It's called outskirts, where the pickup is. And those are some of my more or less favorites. I mean, you can spawn right in here, and again, you can make up your mind whether you want to go that way or that way for those, but it's good. Now, what you'll get from players is they want to get here in most cases. I mean, you'll run into them here, you run into them here, you run into them here, you run into them in these rocks. So that is where the players mostly, I mean, you can get, again, because they can spawn near you, you can run into them there. So those are the areas to be hyper aware, and you can run into them around here. You need to be hyper aware of the spawns, possible spawns of other players. But these are the areas of hot contention where you, even if you're not sure where people spawn in or you avoid them on the spawn, they will be going into that area, with the big one being, of course, here because they want to kill Stroman. So, yeah, you get, no matter where they spawn, you get the PMCs heading this way from every direction. So be wary when you're in the area of here, because if you're going in here to try to capture scavs, you can get them crossing your path. Same way if you're trying to get up this way, you can get them coming in your path. So be wary of it. But it is the most, it's the flame that draws them off. It's the place where everybody goes. You do, of course, get people who want to snipe down into here, so then you can get some contention here on people jumping up on the rocks, etc., trying to get the optimum sniping area. But if you're not going to be sniping yourself, then you don't really have to worry. You just have to be wary of this high rock area is going to be someplace you have to watch out for. Okay, so that is pretty much it for the map. Hopefully you'll get something good out of this. And as always, don't forget about the wiki, and it has all the information about what you can find on the map. If I go full screen, so again, you can check out the extraction points and the spawn of players. Again, note the ones here, how close together they are, so you have to be wary of other players here. But there are lots and lots of there's dead scavs even that you can, you know, check them and you find stuff. There's lots of boxes, sports bags, safes. There's one safe in those three little sheds that I talked about. So, quest related, there are a few things here that you have to do. Um, yeah, okay. So you have to. This is a ZB7 or 14 bunker, and you have to stash something in it. And there's another one over here, which is ZB16. Okay, there's the very first task for a mechanic where you have to go get the letter. But you can see everything on this map, and it does, again, if we go back to the caches, it's got a lot of caches, so you can pick up a lot of goodies on this map. Okay, hope that's been of some help to you. Like I said, I don't particularly like this map because of the amount of sniping opportunities. I usually do okay on this map. I've not really suffered. It's not my favorite map. I only play it typically when I have to play it, or if I'm trying to do some sniping, which I guess qualifies as having to play it. Okay, well, that's it. Okay, so this is just kind of a little bit of a run through here. I'm doing it offline. So there's the little signs that I was talking about that let you know that there's mines that you have to be very aware of. Um, if you run in there, it'll kill you in 2 mines. It usually won't kill you in 1. There's the scav house that I was talking about. Scavs spawn around here all the time. So you actually get players standing up here and going prone so that they can shoot people coming out of there. You can see what I was talking about. That is the tall rocks that you can use as a reference point. And I'll go over this way. Can't remember if I'm going to see scavs in this. It's offline, it shouldn't be anywhere. So there's the main road. You'll find scavs again appearing all over here. I'm running down the main road. I only got so much stamina. But the ZB14 extraction and the area where you have to plant is there along that wall. You'll actually usually see green smoke if it's available to you. It's kind of near there. Well, I'll go over here and show it. Where are you? Did I go by? Yeah, I did. Here it is. So I go down here and you got to plant a couple things there. You need a key to get here. To get out, if it's your extraction, there's stuff, a little bit of stuff to fight or grab here. So I usually run along this wall here. It's a little bit of protection from that direction, although you won't get too much. Again, if you go too far, you'll start seeing the little signs to warn you about mines. But there is the hydro lines that I was talking about. So they kind of follow the road. That symbol there is a sniper, so that means if you go towards that APC, you'll get sniped, and it's like an invisible sniper you never see. So there's the hydro lines, you can follow them as a means, but they are a little confusing in certain areas. So I'll just do one more thing. At one point you have to mark those barrels, so keep that in mind. So you remember the road at the start, I'm running back out to the road. And you will eventually, there's the shed, so you'll get scavs appearing there. So they'll come from over there. If you stay in this area, you can actually get scavs. So I'm going to move a little bit more, follow the road. On the right of the road is actually the woodshed or wooden mill. Again, you have to be careful. You get players setting up, even though these rocks aren't as high as the big peak, they will sit on top of those rocks and look to get you. I'll just run into this section. Again, I can't remember if I put scavs in here or not. This is a sawmill, so you have to be careful of that area for scavs and players. You can run into this building. There's a few goodies in this building. There's a box, some stuff on the shelves. You see all those med kits. So it's good. There's a pickup. You have to jump in the back of it to get in that box there. But you need a piece for a skier. Now I talked about the 3 little sheds. They're here. So there's one you have to get into. There under the bed is one a folder you have to retrieve. And there on that bed is a place you have to put 3 gold chains. And you have to watch them. They'll shoot you through the window when you're sitting here waiting for the timer to expire. Yeah, I'm not going to look at that because I can't take it out. Ooh, it's a little tough to get up the hill. Again, they can get players, scavs in this area. Again, there's the peak that uses your reference. All part of it here is extends all the way down there, and you can get scavs and players. See the water on my right. Running out of gas. But usually if I'm trying to extract, I'll just follow the water line there. That's fairly safe to do that. Not perfect, but out here is where you run into players. And the odd scav. So, again, you can still see the sniper rock. So again, that's your reference. You can often get oriented just by going to that rock. And here is the medical area. So I come here for scav kills because they will eventually show up. Sometimes it's they immediately start showing up fairly early in the raid, so you can get a few kills. And as I said, this is a good area for stuff. You get things on the tables. If you come up here in both these, there's a box there and there's a box in that one. And you come through here, see like IFAKs, there's stuff in this box. Like this is a really target-rich environment. There's a sledgehammer, drill. you need a sledgehammer, medical bag. Find another medical bag. You can find stuff on the shelf, on the table. Same in here. There's some pills. You can find stuff in here. You'll find stuff, food over this way. Again, more stuff on the table. There's another IFAK bag. You can get a gun propped up here. And you can get stuff at the very back of there. And then sort of, again, stuff randomly scattered. Usually food in this area here. And then in here is meds. So there's med. There's a bag to check, but this is where I got all my Sulliwas in this area. Okay. Another bag in there. So what I usually do is I will come over here and I'll go prone. And then I'll sit here and wait for the scavs to appear, and they'll come from my immediate left or over in there. So they'll come up in here, or they'll come up from over there. So it's actually a fairly good place to come. Okay, that's some real live footage for you that I just thought I would show you.